Probably going to happen this week as they head out to face the Raiders in Las Vegas, because Dillon Gabriel is in the concussion protocol, and I just think there's a very, very good chance that Shedeur Sanders is going to start this game. So what needs to happen? Shadour needs to get into practice and take his first practice snaps with the first team offense. He hasn't done that before. We've been harping on it all. That's the first thing that will happen. And then they will devise a game plan that will maximize his strengths and help him to look as good as possible.
The entire NFL world is going absolutely wild right now. If you haven't heard what's happening in Cleveland, drop everything, because this story is once in a generation crazy. We're talking pure drama, huge controversy, redemption at its finest, and a father-son legacy about to face the ultimate test under those blinding stadium lights. Shedeur Sanders, the son of the legendary Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, is about to step into the spotlight for what might be the most hyped quarterback debut the NFL has seen in years. And just when fans thought the season couldn't get any more intense, the NFL commissioner dropped a shocking announcement that sent the entire league spinning. This isn't just another Sunday game. It's a full-blown moment in football history. The stadium in Cleveland is packed to the brim, the pressure couldn't be higher, and the tension in the air is unreal. This game is bigger than football. It's a message about resilience, talent, and proving every single doubter wrong. If Shedeur Sanders pulls this off against the Las Vegas Raiders, we could be witnessing the start of one of the most powerful comeback stories the NFL has ever seen. When Shadour takes that first snap, he's not just playing for himself, he's representing every kid who was told, "You're not good enough." Every player who watched their dream fade away on draft day. And best believe, he's stepping out there to prove that the Sanders name wasn't just inherited, it was earned through sweat, sacrifice, and heart that doesn't quit. So how did we get here? Let's rewind, because this whole journey feels straight out of a movie. Shedeur Sanders wasn't even supposed to be wearing Cleveland's brown and orange. He wasn't supposed to be a fifth-round pick, and no one expected him to be that guy leading the charge this season. Everyone slept on him, while 31 other teams passed him up again and again. This young man was supposed to be a first-round pick, a true franchise quarterback, the kind of player who hears his name called early on draft night with his family cheering and cameras flashing everywhere. But instead, Shedeur Sanders went through one of the most shocking draft day slides in recent memory, falling all the way to pick 144, where the Cleveland Browns finally took the risk and threw him a lifeline. Right after that, the questions started flying from every direction. Was it his arm strength, his pocket awareness, maybe his ability to read NFL defenses, or was it the huge shadow cast by his father's Hall of Fame legacy? Some even whispered about mysterious character concerns, like there had to be some hidden reason every team pumped the brakes. Nobody knew for sure, but that didn't stop the noise. Sports shows went crazy with debates. Social media blew up with people who'd never even touched a football suddenly acting like experts. Everyone had something to say about why Shedeur Sanders wasn't a first-round talent. Critics said things like, "The kid from Colorado ain't ready for the big stage," or "He only got hyped because of his dad." The disrespect was unreal, and you could feel the hate in every headline. But that kind of doubt, it cuts deep, and for someone as competitive as Shadour, you know it had to sting hard. Still, this is where the story flips completely, because fast forward through preseason and the first stretch of the season, and Cleveland suddenly found itself in a quarterback disaster nobody saw coming. Joe Flacco, the seasoned vet who held things down early on, stopped being the answer. Then came Dillon Gabriel, another rookie thrown into the fire, supposed to keep things steady. But this is the AFC North, where the Steelers and Bengals don't give you a single inch. And then came Week 11, the turning point that changed everything. It all came crashing down in a matchup against the red-hot Baltimore Ravens, a team dominating the league like a well-oiled machine. During that intense game, disaster struck. Dillon Gabriel took a brutal hit, went down hard, and was later diagnosed with a concussion. Suddenly, the Cleveland Browns were thrown into total chaos, scrambling in an emergency no one could have ever planned for. There was no warm-up, no slow introduction, no time to breathe. The football gods had different plans that night, and they demanded Shedeur Sanders step straight into the fire. With Gabriel still on the turf, medical staff rushing in, and the entire stadium holding its breath, Shadour jogged onto the field for his NFL debut under the worst circumstances imaginable. No first-team reps in practice, no time to sync with the starters, no calm moment to ease into the league, just straight pressure, bright lights, and one shot to prove he belonged. It was trial by fire, and everyone watching knew it. Now let's keep it real. What happened next wasn't pretty. Shedeur Sanders struggled badly in that debut. The numbers told a harsh story. Only 4 completions out of 16 attempts for 47 yards, 1 interception, and a 13.5 quarterback rating that made even die-hard fans wince. It was rough, painfully rough. Social media blew up instantly, with every critic and armchair analyst racing to post their "I told you so" takes. People mocked him, calling him overrated, saying he's not ready, and trashing the kid for a performance that was never meant to define him. But here's what every single one of those loud critics completely missed. And this part changes everything. Shadour didn't walk into a comfortable setup. He got thrown into the middle of a storm without a second of real preparation or support. It wasn't failure, it was survival. And then, the twist that shook the entire league came on Wednesday. Head coach Kevin Stefanski, who's seen more quarterback chaos in Cleveland than anyone should, dropped a bombshell announcement. Despite all the noise, all the doubt, and all the pressure, Shedeur Sanders would be the starting quarterback for Week 12 against the Las Vegas Raiders. That's right, Stefanski made it clear. This kid wasn't getting benched or hidden behind excuses. He was getting his shot to rewrite the narrative, and the whole football world was about to find out what Shedeur Sanders was really made of. Not only that, but the NFL commissioner himself dropped another bombshell, revealing that the stadium is completely sold out. Every single seat is packed with fans who can't wait to watch this redemption story unfold live. People are buzzing, desperate to see if Shedeur Sanders can shut down the doubters and prove he's the real deal under those blinding lights. The hype is unreal. This isn't just another football game. It's a full-blown cultural event, a moment that feels bigger than sports itself. The energy, the noise, the anticipation, it's all building around one question. Can Shadour handle the heat? Because the weight on his shoulders right now is massive. Shedeur Sanders is about to become the 3rd different starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns this season, following both Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel. For a franchise that's been defined by quarterback chaos for decades, cycling through players faster than most people change socks, this could have been just another messy chapter. But this one feels different. There's electricity in the air, like something rare and unpredictable is about to happen. Inside the Browns organization, you can tell they see something special in Shadour. They're not just throwing him out there, they're believing in him. Head coach Kevin Stefanski's words this week made that loud and clear. When he spoke to the media on Wednesday, Stefanski didn't sound unsure. He sounded confident, almost protective. He said the coaching staff is building the offense around Shadour's skills, not forcing him to fit into someone else's system. This isn't one of those sink or swim situations. It's a calculated move with purpose. Stefanski talked about making sure Shadour feels comfortable in every snap, about creating plays that fit how he sees the field. He even mentioned the months they've spent studying his habits, learning how he reads defenses, and figuring out what makes him tick as a quarterback. It's clear the Browns aren't just hoping for a miracle. They're preparing for a statement. They're setting the stage for Shedeur Sanders to not only take over the offense, but to possibly rewrite the story of Cleveland football right before our eyes. This is exactly the kind of support every young quarterback dreams of, the kind that actually sets you up to win in the NFL. It's the total opposite of that brutal sink or swim approach that's ended way too many promising careers before they ever had a real shot. But now, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room, because you simply can't mention Shedeur Sanders without bringing up the massive shadow cast by his father. We're talking about the one and only Deion Sanders, prime time, neon Deion, one of the most electrifying athletes to ever step onto a field, a Hall of Famer who didn't just play the game, he changed it. A true two-way superstar, locking down receivers as a shutdown corner, returning kicks like lightning, and doing it all with that trademark swagger that made him a cultural icon. Deion wasn't just a football player, he was a walking headline, a personality so big it could outshine the sun. And that's part of the challenge. When your father is that legendary, it's almost impossible to escape the comparisons. Shadour played for his dad at Colorado, and together, they flipped the college football world upside down. Practically overnight, they turned a forgotten program into the most talked about team in America. Cameras followed them everywhere. Fans couldn't get enough, and suddenly, Colorado football was front page news every single week. But of course, the critics never stopped talking. They've been relentless, claiming Shadour's success at Colorado was manufactured by his father's fame, that it was all about the Sanders brand and not his actual skill. Some said he was a product of nepotism, not talent. They pointed to the team's losses, nitpicked his mechanics, and threw shade on his draft value, saying he's not ready for the NFL. It was harsh, almost personal. But here's what all those loudmouths conveniently ignore. Shedeur Sanders backed it up on the field. The kid put up monster numbers at Colorado. We're talking thousands of passing yards, pinpoint accuracy, calm under pressure, and a level of leadership that you just can't fake. Game after game, he showed poise, confidence, and control, even when the odds were stacked against him. He faced top-ranked opponents, battled through brutal defenses, and still delivered when his team needed him most. The truth is, Shadour didn't just ride his father's legacy, he built his own. Every throw, every hit, every touchdown was another piece of proof that he belongs at the highest level, and now the entire world is about to see that for themselves. Was he perfect? Of course not. No college quarterback ever is. But the idea that Shedeur Sanders didn't deserve to be drafted higher, that 31 teams were somehow right to keep passing on him, looks more ridiculous by the day. Every new chapter of this story is proving just how wrong those doubters were. The truth is, the narrative around Shadour has always been tangled up in his last name, and that's the tough reality he's been living with his entire football life. There are people out there who will never give him full credit. No matter what he does, they'll always say it's because of his dad. They'll move the goalposts every single time he achieves something real. It's exhausting, unfair, and it would have crushed most players by now. But Shadour isn't like most players, and being Deion Sanders' son comes with lessons that money can't buy. When you grow up under that kind of spotlight, you learn early how to handle pressure like a pro. You learn to tune out the noise, ignore the critics, and focus on what really matters, the opinions of people who actually know the game. And even then, Shadour doesn't take criticism personally. He uses it as fuel. Every doubt, every headline, every he can't do it just pushes him to go harder. This moment right here, he's been training for it his whole life. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. Every bit of chaos, every bit of scrutiny, it's all prepared him for this exact opportunity. That's what makes this Sunday's game against the Las Vegas Raiders so powerful. It's not just another matchup, it's a fresh start, a real chance for Shedeur Sanders to show the world what he can do when he's properly prepared and supported. This time, he's not walking into the storm blind like he did against Baltimore. This time, he's ready. All week, he's been taking first-team reps, working hand-in-hand with the starting offensive line, building timing and rhythm with the main receivers, and mastering the game plan down to the last detail. Most importantly, he's had time to calm his mind, control the nerves, and find that quiet confidence great quarterbacks carry with them into every game. Now, with everything finally lined up, Shadour isn't just stepping onto that field, he's stepping into his moment. This time, it's a whole different story, and the results should show it. The Las Vegas Raiders, Shedeur Sanders' opponent this Sunday, are battling through their own rough season full of quarterback drama and front office confusion. This isn't a matchup against juggernauts like the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills. No, this is a fight against a Raiders squad that's been up and down all year long. And that's exactly why this game matters so much. The Raiders defense has struggled, their offense has been inconsistent, and they've been searching for an identity all season. This is a winnable game, the kind of matchup a young quarterback like Shadour needs, a real chance to find his rhythm, build confidence, and maybe even grab his first NFL victory. You can bet the Browns coaching staff knows it. The players know it. And trust, Shedeur Sanders knows it too. This is his shot, his stage, his moment to take control and show everyone that what happened in Baltimore was just the warm-up before the breakout. And just when the hype couldn't get any crazier, the NFL commissioner's announcement about the sold-out stadium added another spark to the fire. Think about that for a second. Every single seat filled, fans packed shoulder to shoulder, all waiting to see what this kid is about to do. In today's NFL, where attendance can dip depending on the weather or the team's record, a completely sold-out Browns game for a fifth-round rookie making his first start, that's beyond rare. It's historic. Sure, the Sanders name carries star power, no question. But this goes deeper than fame or legacy. This is about the story. Fans love a real underdog fight, the kind where someone counted out comes storming back when nobody expects it. They crave redemption arcs, comebacks, and proof that hard work can silence the noise. And that's exactly what Shadour represents right now. He's the living, breathing definition of a second chance. People aren't just showing up for a game, they're showing up for a moment. They want to witness history as it happens, to be able to say, I was there when Shedeur Sanders flipped the script. And for the Browns organization, this is gold. The buzz, the excitement, the ticket sales, it's all through the roof. Cleveland hasn't had this kind of electricity in the air for a long time. And whether it ends in victory or heartbreak, one thing's for sure, the whole world will be watching to see what happens when Shedeur Sanders finally takes control of his own story. You can bet merchandise sales are through the roof right now. Jerseys, hats, posters, everything with Shedeur Sanders' name on it is flying off the shelves. The hype is unreal and it's only getting bigger. TV ratings for Sunday's game are expected to be massive. And social media, it's exploding with clips, takes, and non-stop debates about whether this kid is the real deal or just another headline. No matter what happens on Sunday, whether Shedeur Sanders shines or struggles, he's already brought huge value to the Cleveland Browns. The attention, the excitement, the national buzz, it's priceless. That's the power of a great story in modern sports, and nobody does it better than the NFL. The league knows that fans don't just tune in for touchdowns, they tune in for drama, for emotion, for a story that grips you from start to finish. And right now, Shedeur's journey might be the most captivating one in the entire season. As kickoff approaches, the questions are endless and the speculation just keeps growing louder. Will Shedeur Sanders prove that Cleveland made the right call by drafting him and giving him this shot? Will he show that those 31 other teams made a colossal mistake passing on him? Can he turn that rough debut against Baltimore into the ultimate comeback statement? Or will this game turn into another tough lesson about hype, pressure, and the brutal reality of the NFL? That's what makes this so thrilling. You don't have to wait long to find out. Sunday's coming fast, and with it comes answers, one way or another. This is the moment where talk ends and truth takes over. But one thing's already crystal clear. Shedeur Sanders has something you can't teach. That mental toughness, that fire, that unbreakable drive, it's in his DNA. You either have it or you don't, and everything about his story screams that he does. The way he handled the pain of draft night, sitting there while his name kept getting passed over, that takes grit. The way he stayed locked in as a backup, knowing he might not even get a shot this year, that takes patience and heart. And when he was suddenly thrown into chaos against the Ravens, even though he struggled, he stood tall. He didn't fold, didn't quit. He fought through it. Now the spotlight is back on him, brighter than ever, and the whole world's about to see whether Shedeur Sanders can turn that fire into something unforgettable. Everything about this moment points to one thing. Shedeur Sanders has it. The confidence, the toughness, the composure. He's got the right stuff to make it in this league. And clearly, head coach Kevin Stefanski sees it too. You don't put your reputation on the line by starting a fifth-round rookie unless you truly believe in what you've got. Stefanski is betting big on Shadour, and that alone speaks volumes. But if Shadour is going to shine this Sunday, he's going to need his offensive crew locked in from start to finish. The offensive line has to show up strong. Give him the time to breathe, read the field, and make smart throws. The Raiders' pass rush can be nasty when they're dialed in, so protection is everything. And then there's the running game. It needs to hit early and often to keep that defense honest and take some of the weight off Shedeur's shoulders. He'll also need his receivers to step up big time. They've got to win those one-on-one battles, fight for separation, and make plays when it matters most. Because football, no matter how much spotlight one player gets, has always been the ultimate team game. No quarterback, not even the great ones, can do it alone. Luckily, the Cleveland Browns have the weapons, the talent is there. If everyone executes, stays sharp, and matches Shedeur's energy, this game is absolutely within reach. And that's exactly what they'll have to do. Play mistake-free, unified football from the first snap to the last whistle. But here's where it gets even more interesting. This game isn't just about one Sunday in November, it's about what it could mean moving forward. If Shedeur Sanders plays well and leads the Browns to victory, it could completely change the direction of the entire franchise. Suddenly, Cleveland wouldn't just be winning a game, they'd be finding their quarterback of the future. That's huge! Because if Shadour delivers, the pressure on the front office instantly drops. No scrambling to draft another quarterback, no desperate search in free agency. Instead, they can focus on building around him, strengthening the roster, developing chemistry, and growing together as a team. The coaching staff would finally get stability at the most critical position in football, and the locker room. It would rally behind a young leader who proved he belongs in this league. A win on Sunday wouldn't just boost the record, it would ignite hope in Cleveland, a city that's been waiting way too long for a quarterback who can truly carry the torch. Everything changes if Shedeur Sanders pulls this off. That's what makes these stakes so insanely high. But on the flip side, if he struggles again, if the same doubts that made teams pass on him in the draft start showing up, then the Cleveland Browns could find themselves right back at square one in their endless quarterback search. And that's a place this city knows all too well. For Cleveland fans, it's a nightmare they've lived over and over. From Tim Couch, Brady Quinn, and Johnny Manziel to Deshaun Kaiser and a long list of names in between, the heartbreak has been real. Every time there was hope, every time it slipped away. The city's been craving stability for decades, waiting for that one quarterback who finally breaks the curse. And right now, all eyes are on Shedeur Sanders to be that guy to change the story once and for all. This game couldn't come at a more crucial time either. Across the league, playoff races are heating up. Every matchup is starting to feel like a make-or-break moment, and teams are separating the contenders from the pretenders. The Browns still have a shot, a real one. Sure, it's a long road, but if they can pull together a few wins and get a little luck elsewhere, they could sneak into playoff contention. But that only happens if their quarterback can lead with confidence, make smart throws, and keep his composure when the game's on the line. That's why this Sunday isn't just about Shedeur's story. It's about the entire direction of the franchise. If he delivers, the Browns' future opens wide. If not, it's back to the drawing board. What's wild is how much hope Shadour represents right now. He's become a symbol of possibility for Cleveland, a reminder that maybe, just maybe, something special can still happen this season. He's more than just a rookie quarterback. He's the spark the city's been waiting for. And then there's the mental side, the part fans rarely see. Imagine what's running through Shedeur's head this week as he prepares for the biggest start of his life. The noise, the pressure, the endless comparisons to his father, the critics waiting for him to fail. It's all swirling around him. Yet he's been here before, under bright lights, under heavy doubt, and every time he's found a way to rise above it. Cleveland's counting on him, the league's watching him, and his next move could rewrite not just a game, but an entire legacy. The weight on Shedeur Sanders' shoulders right now is unreal. The support from true believers, the legacy of his legendary father, and the once-in-a-lifetime chance to change the entire direction of his career with one powerful performance. This is the kind of pressure that makes or breaks athletes, the test that separates the ones who rise to greatness from the ones who fade under the spotlight. Some players crumble when the world's watching. Others, they feed off it. They turn that pressure into fire and use it to take their game to levels nobody thought possible. And if there's one thing we've learned about Shedeur Sanders, it's that he's built for moments like this. Still, we won't really know until he's standing out there under the lights, ball in his hands, and the game hanging in the balance. The good news, the Browns coaching staff is doing everything right to set him up for success. Their decision to tailor the offense around Shedeur's strengths isn't just smart, it's vital. Too many teams ruin young quarterbacks by shoving them into systems that don't fit their game, forcing throws they're not ready for, and setting them up to fail before they even get started. But Kevin Stefanski and his crew aren't making that mistake. They're designing a playbook that matches Shedeur's style. Quick reads, fast decisions, and plays that let him use his mobility and vision. Expect to see more quick-hitting routes, play-action setups that keep defenses guessing, and maybe even some rollouts and bootlegs to get him moving outside the pocket where he's most dangerous. That's good coaching, plain and simple. And let's be real, the hype around this game is about to explode. Sports talk shows are already going crazy, debating what Shadour will do on Sunday. Social media is going to be flooded with hot takes, clips, predictions, and arguments about whether this kid can handle the moment. Even betting lines are shifting as the buzz keeps growing. Every fan, every analyst, every fantasy football player, they're all waiting to see what happens next. Because whatever goes down this weekend, it's not just about one game, it's about a story that's bigger than football itself. If Shedeur Sanders shows up and delivers, he won't just be proving himself to the league, he'll be proving that belief, preparation, and raw determination still means something in the modern NFL. So what do you think? Can Shadour silence the critics and start a new chapter in Cleveland's football legacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe for more wild sports stories, share this with your crew, and I'll see you in the next one.